everybody, welcome to my first junk journal video of 2020. In this video I'm going to be making myself a new junk journal. I actually sat down to do some junk journaling and then went, oh, I don't have one, I filled up my last one. So I'm using a DVD case to make myself a junk journal. This is the case for the Lord of the Rings Fellowship of the Ring extended edition, so it's like one of those box set ones because it's 4 DVDs. And then like a slipcase on the outside. And I thought I was going to dismantle the slipcase part and use that, but actually when I was looking at the sort of insert bit that holds the 4 DVDs, I thought actually I could make quite a cool junk journal out of this. So off camera I'd already taken off those plasticky things, you know, that hold the actual DVDs, and that's why you can see all those little rip bits, which I'm covering up just with little scraps of washi. I mean, I could have, if I weren't so lazy, like found the images online maybe and then just printed them off and pasted them over, but it's a junk journal, I can't be bothered, so I'm just covering that up with washi like so. There was no other way, unfortunately, to remove those plastic things without damaging the image, but I'm totally fine about it. By the way, just in case anyone is worried that I'm using this is actually, I have a spare of Fellowship Extended Edition. This was my original one, which I think I must have watched so much that I ruined the DVDs because they were like skipping like mad, so I had to buy a new one. And this is the old DVD case, which I just kind of kept because I'm a junk journaler and I keep everything. So this next little section I have super sped up because it is me just taking all my papers that I want to use for my signatures in the journal and just cutting them down to size. I measured the DVD case and I always obviously make the signatures slightly smaller than what the case is so they're not sticking out, and it turned out to be 5x7, which is pretty perfect because that's B6 size, which is a size I quite like using. And I'd already printed off from like an Etsy printable shop some papers to B6 size already, so that was really, really handy. You'll see a few of them, they're like the ones with pretty blue flowery tones. They, if you're interested, are from a shop on Etsy called Calico Collage. I think it's collage rather than college. Anyways, they're really, really beautiful and I'm like obsessed with this shop. And she also allows you to use her printables in like junk journals that you make to sell, which is just fabulous for a little Etsy shop like me. Anyways, now I'm just like going through all the papers. I'm going to have 3 signatures in this journal. And yeah, I'm just figuring out, you know, what order I want the papers in and stuff. One signature needed to be slightly smaller than the other 2, so one has 10 pages as opposed to 12 or 14. And oh, I'm also using some old birthday cards in here. Like, I always keep all my birthday and Christmas cards, and it's one of those things, they really, really pile up over time, so I'm starting to try and remember to use them in my junk journals. I think I used 3 in this one. So now I'm just measuring where I need to put my holes to bind the signatures. That little contraption I've got up the top there, which I'm using, is called a bookbinding cradle. I get asked about it a lot when I do my studio vlog, so I'm sure many of you watching know exactly what it is, but just in case, that's what it's called. I will link to the one that I have. I think it was just from Amazon or something. But it's so handy. It's like, it completely changed my life, makes life so much easier with that thing. So yeah, just poking all of my holes there, and then I think once those are done, I am ready to start binding. If you can hear a distant dog barking, by the way, I do apologise. It's our neighbour. This poor dog, it obviously hates being outside. He lets it outside for like half hour, 40 minutes at a time, and the thing just barks the whole time. Like, dogs bark, that's just like a fact of life, but this poor thing obviously doesn't want to be outside. So anyways, I feel sorry for him, but he's so loud as well, so you might be able to hear it coming up in the audio. Anyways, moving on. So the way I'm going to bind this is that where there are sort of 3 sections where the sort of DVD case folds in to itself, I'm going to use each of those little mini spines or whatever to bind a signature. Obviously, because it was flat, I couldn't use my bookbinding cradle for that. So what I did is I measured the exact center of that, poked a hole, and then poked through the center hole of my signature into that hole I've already made, and then it all lines up nice and straight and everything. The thread I use, just in case you're interested in that, is 1mm waxed cord or bookbinding thread. I'm not going to link it because I buy it in ridiculously huge amounts for my Etsy shop, but if you just like Google 1mm wax cord or wax bookbinding thread or something along those lines, then it will probably come up. It's such good stuff. It's really, really strong, but it's quite slim as well, so it's easy to sew the signatures in, because if you use something like twine, it's really hard to just push that twine through those little holes. This stuff is just, I just love it. So hopefully by this point you can kind of get an idea of what I'm doing with these signatures, and how like each signature within the DVD case kind of has its own cover by the way it folds in on itself. One thing I made sure to keep an eye on while doing this is making sure things were the right way up, because I have done it in the past and it's so easy to do, and then a pain to undo is sewing in a signature upside down. So I was really concentrating super hard on that. I know to you guys you're probably thinking, well, that's so obvious, Grace, but it's just one of those mistakes that are so easy to make, and you're like, oh no, what have I done? So I checked about 8 dozen times that everything was the right way around. And with that, everything sewn in, the little junk journal is complete. I just love the way this looks. Like it's different and it's fun. As I said, every little signature's got its own little cover. In the first little fold out bit of the DVD case, there's a little pocket that had you know, like the little menu info guide that came with it, which has long been lost, but it's a nice little pocket that I can use to put things in. So I'm just flipping through it here just to show you everything. I mean, it's not themed at all. I haven't done like a Lord of the Rings theme or like a fantasy or a medieval or anything like that. I've just chucked in totally random things. But yeah, I'm really happy with it. I did bring back the slipcase and wondered if I could bring that in, like have it as a second cover or something, and then I thought, well, maybe I shouldn't have taken it apart, because then I could put it back in the slipcase like it was. But then, you know, after a while the junk journal is going to get quite poofy and fat as you fill it with things, and then it wouldn't fit in that outside cover. So I've just put that aside, and I will use it for another junk journal down the line somewhere. So I'm just going to start off this journal doing a couple of sort of collagey spreads. There was a bunch of stuff I had lying around left over from Christmas and from my birthday that I just wanted to get down into my junk journal, mostly to get it out of the way. So these first pages here, I'm kind of documenting some of the 2 big presents I got for my birthday, which was back in December. I did share it in a studio vlog, but basically I got a very posh pen and a very nice ring. And here's Conan to say hello as per usual and get his fluffy butt on my journal. It's not a Grace's junk journal unless it's had my cat's fluffy butt on it. Anyways, but when it comes to presents and things like that, I just keep everything. So there was like all this stuff that came with my ring. You can probably see here, but my ring was one of the One rings which was made by the people who made them for the films, so that's very appropriate for the junk journal itself. So like I'm just taking the leaflet and the name of the jewelers and stuff so I can put those down. I have little scraps I kept of wrapping paper that people had wrapped my gifts in, so I'm just kind of gonna glue those all over the place in a very sort of haphazardy, collagey way. All that stuff you can see that says Izods, that's, I don't know if I'm pronouncing that right, but that is where my pen came from. It was the most beautifully wrapped item I have ever experienced in my life, as in packaged item. Like, it was in a box with the ribbon with their logo on. You can see there, as soon as you open the box, there was that thing that says, ooh, what's in here? And I was just like, this is such a great marketing idea. I kind of want to steal it. But yes, point being, I kept everything just to make a fun birthday spread in my junk journal. So again, some of the tissue paper and stuff is things that presents were wrapped in. And another fun part of this is that the pink side that has the hole in it was one of my old birthday cards from years and years ago. I don't know how old it is, but it's at least a few years old, because it says from grandma and granddad, and my granddad isn't around anymore. So obviously that's kind of really special. When I come to the other side of that birthday card, when it has grandma and granddad written on it, I'll probably do something in relation to them. But yes, just throwing on all of the things. I wanted to include some of that ribbon just because it was so pretty, so I used some red line tape for that, so it would be, you know, nice and sturdy and strong. And then just in the top here, I did think about adding journaling, but then I knew I needed to add more journaling than I could fit in those spaces, so I thought I would do that on the other side of the page, and just added a few fun rub-ons and things, and I just stamped the date. And I think that's about all I do to this. Okay, it's a really simple collagey page, not exactly particularly artistic or interesting. And then on the other side here, I'm just going to add a little bit of journaling about those two gifts and how I just had a really lovely birthday, etc, etc. Or I thought I'd do a little bit of stamping as well. So that thing that says such a lovely day is from one of those card making sticker books that American Crafts did a year or so ago. They weren't very popular, not many people got them, but I think I was one of the only people who did, but that's where it's from. That there is the pen that I got for my birthday. I thought, well, I'm going to have to use the pen that I got for my birthday to write about the pen and ring I got for my birthday. So I'm just filling in that journaling on there. And I don't think I add anything else to that page. Please excuse my head poking in there. So that is filled. And I think that's all I do for the front of it. And then I'm just going to come back, this was a few days later, and add another spread towards the end of this particular signature. Oh, no. I'm going to do one quick thing first. Another thing, this is from Christmas. This was a gift from my sister. She got me my favourite bottle of perfume, and the packaging is really shiny and pretty and gold, so I just wanted to include that. So I think all I'm going to do is staple it onto this paper, because that is that like mulberry handmade paper. It's really, really delicate, so I couldn't really do loads on it, but I found this piece of doily tablecloth or whatever. I thought that would look nice behind it, and then when I looked at it like that, I thought I could add some hidden journaling just behind that little sort of flap I've made. So I've just said, you know, it was a Christmas present from whoever, put that down there, and I think I'm probably just going to add just a little smidgy bit of washi just to make it look a bit prettier. So nothing very exciting. Again, just trying to get all these things down that I really, really need to get off my desk and out of my way. And this last one I'm going to do here is another Christmas present. This was a t-shirt of my favourite band that I had wanted for a very, very, very long time, and I finally got it for this Christmas. So and the packaging it came in, there was tape with the band's logo on, and I just thought it was the greatest thing in the world. So there it is there, rescued the tape from the box so I could use it in my junk journal. Obviously it lost its stickiness doing it that way, so I'm just covering that other paper there completely in glue so I can collage, decoupage all that tape on like that. On that opposite page as well, as you saw, I just did some stenciling. That skull stencil I bought myself recently at a local craft store, and I used Distress Oxide weathered wood, I think. I could be wrong there. But yeah, just collaging all that tape onto there to completely cover up that paper, because that paper is one of those where it's just like, I'm never going to use it. I don't travel. I don't need a paper full of planes. So yeah, completely covering that up using all these scraps of this tape. And then I have the label that came on the t-shirt, which obviously I wanted to include that as well. I just added a little bit of twine to it so it looked more like a label, and then I just wanted to back that with a little bit of something. I thought it would look a bit lost and floaty if I just whapped it somewhere on top of the skull. So I'm taking this DCWV Ghost Stories paper pad for something, you know, appropriately alternative is, I think, is the phrase I'm looking for. So going around the edges with that. Oh, and then I was listening to something. I was like, I can't be doing a spread about my favourite band and not listen to my favourite band at the same time. So that's me getting my phone and changing my music. At this stage, I was just going to leave it with like the label and the skull on that page and nothing else, but I really wasn't feeling it. I'm not good at leaving white spaces. I've never been good at it. So I decided I was just going to cover that page in song lyrics, obviously from that band. And the t-shirt that I got is referencing a certain song. So that's the song that I'm writing down. The song, by the way, if anyone is interested, is Ramveer by the band Rammstein. And then once, I haven't done it yet, but I will at some point, take a cheeky selfie of myself wearing said t-shirt, and then I'm going to just slap bang in the middle of that opposite page that's covered in the tape. I haven't got around to taking the picture yet, but I will at some point. The pen did struggle, as you see, as it goes over where I've done the stenciling with the Distress Oxide, but it worked just about well enough. And then down at the very bottom, when there was a little bit of space sticking out, bit of white space, sorry, I just added like another few words of the song, so it kind of looked like I'd written it over the whole page and then stuck something over the top of it. I'm just using my stapler here to staple down some of the tape because it wasn't getting on very well with the glue. It was already peeling up, so I thought adding a few staples would look good, and it kind of gives it that industrial feel as well, which goes very well with this particular band. And there we go, that is it. So that is a junk journal made and a couple of spreads done, and my desk finally clear of birthday and Christmas related detritus. Okay, there we go then. It is finished. Thank you so much as always for watching. I will leave as many relevant links as I can in the description box. Do let me know if you have any other questions, anything I haven't linked, so on and so forth. I think that's all I have to say. So, yep, thank you so much again. I'm going bye-bye.